up? This your girl Keke, and if you could tell by the title, today is another story time. So before we get into this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We on that road to 100K. I'm trying to have 100K by the end of this year, in the beginning of next year. So yeah, don't forget to follow me on all my socials. Instagram at Kiki_Savage21, Facebook Keke Young, and then TikTok sleeping_beauty624. I will have it in the description down below. All right. So y'all, this was not too long ago, but it wasn't too long ago, but it was not recent either. But anyway, y'all, I was catfished. So but like when y'all think about it, it's like, how was you catfished? We gonna get there. So back some time ago, whatever, I had started talking to this dude. Now, whenever I started talking to this dude, I had actually met him on the internet. Don't judge me. Everybody has done it. Don't judge me. So I had met him on the internet. I had met him on Facebook. But the way that his profile was set up, I had to send him a friend request to actually see, because he had messaged me first. And I ended up clicking on his profile, but his profile at the time was private, which was a lot of people profiles, like private. So I had accepted his friend request just so I could see his profile. Now when I seen his profile, I seen pictures of him and I was like, oh, he's cute, he's dark skinned, he's cute, all this good stuff, y'all. So anyway, so I remember I had messaged him back and I was just like, hey, what's up? You know, we started talking, you know, and we exchanged numbers. We did exchange numbers that same day, probably like around that night or whatever. We exchanged them because he was like, let's talk on the phone. I was like, cool. So I sent him my number and he called me. We was on the phone talking. He was from Baltimore, so he had that like Baltimore accent. I was like, oh, that's cute. Like, you got the. He was like, yeah. So I was like, where you stay? And he was like, he stayed in the state that I was staying in. So I was like, oh, okay. So I had asked him. I was like, we should meet up. Like, we should get up soon. He was like, yeah, we can make that happen or whatever. So, you know, a couple of days go by and I realized, I was like, why haven't I FaceTime him? Because usually that was like a thing. Like, I would say probably like 3 or 4 conversations. By the 5th conversation, you should be wanting to be on FaceTime. So yeah, I remember I had just got off work or whatever, and I was on the way home. He texted me, and I was like, driving, can't text. I was like, FaceTime me. And he was like, all right. He was like, all right, 1 second. So yeah, when he FaceTimed me, his camera was dark. I was like, but it was dark outside. So I was like, it's dark. And he was like, oh yeah, it's dark in my house. Turn on the light. So I was like, turn on the light. He was like, I don't feel like getting up. Okay. So I was like, so I'm just supposed to look at a dark screen? He was like, or I could just regularly call you. I was like, you don't have a TV? Like, he was like, yeah, the TV off too. Like, why? Why is it so dark in your house? Like, turn on the TV or something. You don't need no type of light. He was like, nah, because I was really finna go to bed. I got to go to work in the morning. So, you know, that made sense. I was like, oh, okay, that's understandable. Right? Right. So, so I was like, oh, okay, well, if that's the case, I was like, all right, I guess you could just call me regular call and then we could talk for a few minutes until I get home or whatever. He was like, okay. So he ended up like, he ended up hanging up and then he regular called me or whatever. So we sitting on the phone having a good conversation. Like, when I'm the type of person, if you can have a good conversation, then I'm gonna talk to you and keep talking to you. Cause like, I'm the type of person that can weave in and out of conversations. I love conversation. So like, if you got good conversation, we could stay on the phone for hours. Because by the time I got home, I had already took a shower. I was fixing me something to eat, finna lay down, everything. Just having a good conversation. He had good conversation. Which is probably like another reason why I never really thought to FaceTime him like that. Like, the conversation was A1. So I remember, like, I said we've been talking by this time for like a month. And I'm like, we grown as hell. Like, I'm not finna keep sitting here talking to him on the phone. Haven't seen him in person. Don't really know how he looked. I mean, yeah, I seen the pictures, but pictures can be deceiving. Yeah. So I remember one day I had told him, I was like, hey, because I had a friend who stayed in the actual city that he said that he stayed in. I had a friend who stayed in the actual city. And I had been talking to her and I had been telling her, I was like, yeah. She was like, you ain't seen it, do you? I said, no. And she was like, why? I was like, I don't know. Like, that do make sense. Why haven't I seen this dude? So I had ended up hitting him up and I was just like, hey, I'm going to be in the city this weekend. I was like, you want to meet up? So he was like, yeah, sure. Y'all, he was down for it and everything. He was like, yeah, sure, we could probably go out to eat, da da da. He was like, you can meet me at my house, and then we can just go out to eat, vibe, see how the vibe go and everything. Y'all, he telling me all this stuff, so I'm like, okay, cool. So Friday come, and I hit him up, and I'm just like, hey, I'll be in the city in 15 minutes. Like, it didn't take me long to get from my city to his city. So I was like, I'll be in the city in 15 minutes. I said, I got to stop by my friend's house, drop some stuff off. Because I used to go to my friend's house, like, every weekend. Every weekend, I was at her house. Like, that's besides the point. But every weekend, I was at her house or whatever. And so, I remember telling her, I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to see this dude today. She was like, yeah, you should do it, whatever. So I had hit him up, and I was like, hey, I'm in the city, I was like, I got to stop by my friend's house, drop some stuff off, and then I'll be on my way. Like, well, when I get to my friend's house, I'll let you know so you can send me the address, and then, I'll be on my way or whatever. He was like, okay, cool. So I got to my friend's house. I sat down with her, talked to her for a minute, asked her what she was cooking. Her favorite thing to cook was tacos. I was all for it. Tacos, great. Like, I love me a good taco, home cooked taco, Taco Bell. Like, it don't really matter. I love me a good taco. So yeah, I had sat down with her. I was talking to her, playing with her daughter, asking her what we had planned for this weekend. Really, it was always really nothing. It was just like drinks, good conversation, hookah maybe, hookah for me because she didn't smoke hookah, she smoked tree. And it was just like a vibe. Like, we'll sit in her room, watch TV. She loved the ID channel. And now I can see why, because she got me hooked on it. But I always watch murder mysteries and stuff like that. So she had me hooked to Snap. Like, if y'all don't know what Snap is, go download the ID channel. I think it is a subscription. I think it's like $5.99, $6.99 or something like that. It really don't even matter. It's not that much. The same amount that you pay for Netflix, well, less, because Netflix is like $21 now, right? Yeah. So I remember we was sitting in, we always like did something or not did. We just, we was always at the house because we was both homebodies. I mean, I didn't have a problem with sitting at home or chilling with somebody in their house. Just, it was always a vibe to me. I like being in the house. Sometimes we did go out on the weekend sometimes, but not all the time. But around this time, it was one of those weekends that we probably just gonna sit in the house or whatever. So I had told her, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go see him or whatever. She was like, all right. So we sitting around talking, laughing or whatever. Around like 7-ish, because he said he wanted to go out to eat. I really want to go out to eat during the day. I can do that for later. So he was like, he wanted to go out to eat. He wanted to go out to eat or whatever. So around 7-ish, I hit him up. I was like, hey, I'm at my friend's house. I said, I've been here for a minute. I was like, but if you're ready to meet up, you could go ahead and send me the address. No response. I waited like 3 minutes and I checked my phone. He ain't responded yet. So I'm sitting around, I'm talking, I'm laughing. Around 9:30 is when I really checked my phone again, and I'm looking, I'm like, the fuck? No text. I'm sitting here looking at my phone like, why you ain't text back? So I went to the message and I was like, it does say delivered. Like, why ain't text back? So I ended up calling him. I called him, it rung and went straight to voicemail. So I was like, fuck. So I ended up sitting my phone down. Well, I texted him again. I was like, hey, I don't know if you got my text. I just tried to call you. It rung 3 times, went straight to voicemail. I said, I don't know what's going on, but I'm letting you know that I'm at my friend's house. No response. Around 12, this ninja decides to respond. And he was like, hey, my bad, got caught up, something happened, it was an emergency, I couldn't be around my phone, da da da. I do not care about none of it. No, y'all, for real. Like, I'm the type of person, if you tell me something and then the plans fall through for whatever reason, I feel like as a mature adult, or as like a responsible adult, you should at least reach out to the person and be the person that you're supposed to be meeting up with, or whatever the case is, and be like, hey, something came up, da da da. So I don't be sitting there looking stupid like I'm sitting here sweating you, which that wasn't the case. But still, at the same time, I did text you, I double text you, and I don't like double texting nobody. And I called you when I shouldn't have even called you because the text was good enough. But yeah, so I was just like, dang, you should have communicated that. I was like, I understand, like, you had something going on. I said, but if you knew that we had plans and that you couldn't follow through with those plans, I feel like you should have communicated that so that we can make arrangements or whatever. I was like, but I hope everything is okay or whatever. He was like, yeah, everything's fine. He was like, I understand, but in the heat of the moment, like, da 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 da, whatever. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, dang. I was like, he was like, you want to meet up tomorrow? So whenever I was talking to my friend, by the end of that night, we had already made plans for that Saturday. I forgot what we was going to do, but we was going to be out. Like, we was going to be outside. Yeah, I think we was. Yeah. So I had told him, I was like, no, me and my friends got plans. I was like, so that ain't going to work. And I remember every Sunday around like noon, I would leave and go home. And then I would, how was it? So on some weekends, on Friday when I got off work, because I worked in the city. On Fridays when I got off work, Friday mornings, because I didn't have to work Friday night or Saturday night or Sunday. No, I did have to work Sunday. Yeah, so this is how it went. So this this is how it went. So I did have to work Friday night and Saturday night, but Sunday night around 8 o'clock I did have to work. So when I got off, I would get off at when I got off Friday morning, I would go straight to my best friend house. And from her house on Sunday, I would go back to work. And then on Monday, I'll come home and leave for work and come home through the week. But on Fridays, I was in the city. So yeah, like that's how it went or whatever. And plus it was easy commute from her house to work. Yeah. So anyway, in the summertime, it was lit. But then I left that job. I should have stayed at that job. But that's the kind of that. So anyway, I had told him, I was like, no, me and my friends got other stuff to do. I was like, we plan on doing something this, is that thunder? It's thunder outside. I was like, me and my best friend got plans for tomorrow. Oh yeah, we was going out to eat. We had friend dates on Saturday sometimes. So yeah, it was my turn to take her on a date. Cause we was lonely. But she married now. And I'm still lonely. But don't worry, okay. that's a sidetrack. But yeah. So I was like, no, me and my friends got plans tomorrow. I was like, so we just gonna have to look at it a later date. He was like, dang, or whatever. And so like that was the end of that conversation. I think I fell asleep on him. I think I texted him back. Then after that, I fell asleep. I don't know. I was drinking. We was both drunk. Like, literally, me and my best friend was drinking. We were drinking wine. Yeah, wine used to get us off our rocker. But yeah. But yeah, so Saturday morning, I was always woke before her. I don't know why. It's just like when I go on vacation. It's like when I go on vacations. If I go on a vacation with somebody, I'm always up before them. And then they just be looking like, why you up so early? Why my shirt look like that? I don't know. I just be feeling like I don't want the day to pass me by. I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I just be up before everybody, like literally up. And I'm the type of person, when I'm up, you could tell that it's me that's up because I make a lot of noise. For what reason? I'm not sure. But yeah, I make I make a lot of noise. So yeah, I had got up or whatever, and I had started moving around the house or whatever. I would sometimes cook breakfast, but it was really her who cooked breakfast. She cooked the best breakfast. Ooh, I miss that woman. I mean, I don't miss her because like we still friends or whatever. But yeah. So anyway, we got up and everything, and we was all moving about the house or whatever. And so me and her, we had started on that day or whatever, whatever, whatever. So I remember like throughout the day I was texting him or whatever. So then she was like, oh, what happened to that boy? I said, he said he had stuff going on. He asked could we chill today, but I told him nah because me and you had stuff going on. She was like, well, we could cut out day short. No, we can't. No, not for no. Cause at the end of the day, this gonna be my first time seeing him. I don't want him to ruin my day. Like no, but I was just like, nah, like we not doing that because you ain't never cut me off for no. I'm not gonna do that. Like nah, he missed his time. His time was yesterday. I already talked to you about yesterday. We already had an understanding that yeah, yesterday I wasn't gonna be at your house all that time because I'm gonna be with him. But he snooze, he lose. Like I don't know what else to tell you. So she was just like, well, dang. So anyway, we had we went to the mall, we hung out, whatever. So then so that day goes by. The week goes by. So in that week, we sitting here talking about possibly meeting up again. So I was like, okay, what about Saturday? I said, this Saturday, I don't have nothing planned with my best friend. I said, I will be at her house. I said, but we can meet up probably around 12, 1 o'clock. But then I was like, no, we can't. Not 12, 1. I was like, probably around 5. I was like, we could meet up around 5. He was like, 5? I was like, yeah. He was like, all right, cool. He was like, we could meet up around 5. So y'all, we set the plans to meet up at 5. All right. So we get to Saturday. The rest of the week go by without a breeze. We talking about it every day. Friday come, we talking about it. I was like, you ain't got nothing going on, right? Like, ain't nobody called you, said, whatever emergency you had last weekend, He was like, nah. I was like, okay. Saturday come. Saturday around like 1, I hit him up. Hey, we meeting up at 5. You ain't got nothing going on, right? He was like, man, now I feel like you being funny. No, I'm making sure that you understand that I don't like dummy missions. Because he had already sent me a address, not the address. He was like, I stay in these apartments. So, and he was like, when you get there, just let me know and I'm going to guide you to me. So he never gave me an actual address. He just gave me an address to the apartment complex that he was staying in. So I was like, okay. So, that was me, calling him, letting him know, you ain't got nothing going on because I don't like going on W missions. You wasting my gas. I'm going to be irritated. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but I don't like feeling like I'm being sent on W missions because if you stand me up once, I feel like you're going to stand me up again. If you stand me up again, we have nothing else to talk about after that because you got me stuck. So, yeah. So, we sitting there and I'm telling her, I was like, I had looked up, like I had put in the maps. I had put the address in from my best friend's house. He literally stayed 15 minutes away. So I was like, do you know these apartments or whatever? She was like, oh yeah, them is some nice apartments. And there were some nice apartments. When I got in the house, there was some nice apartments. But that's neither here nor there. I did. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, y'all. So anyway, around 4:30, I had him up and I was like, hey, I said, I'm gonna be on my way to you. It's 15 minutes away. I should be there soon or whatever. And so he was like, all right, I'm at home. I was like, okay. Mind you, I had went back to his pictures again because he said he was gonna guide me. So I went back to his pictures again. I'm just like, okay, yeah, he cute. I'm just making sure that I ain't lost interest in him or whatever because that lie did kind of make me like stop really talking to him like that because I'm like, bro, like, I didn't know at that time that it was a lie. But I'm just sitting here like, no, you know what? It is a lot because you said you was going to meet up me and then you don't. So, whatever. So, I was like, I lose interest in people once they lie to me once. You lie to me once, I feel like you lie to me forever. And then, like, it's really no point. So, yeah, that's probably why a lot of my first just failed. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. So, yeah. So, I end up leaving. And I sent my best friend my location. And I was like, girl. So, like I said, I sent my best friend my location and I leave. I get in the car and I leave. I go there. So I pulled up there. I say it was around like 4:55 or something like that. Yeah, because it was like it was a little like whatever. That doesn't matter. But yeah, so it's like it was like 4:55 whenever I had ended up getting there. So I called him and I'm like, hello? And he was like, yeah. I was like, I'm outside. And he was like, okay, okay. He was like, what side you come in? And I was like, the one where I read off a building number or whatever. He was like, okay, okay. Well, he was like, okay, so take that all the way down, and when you get to that stop sign, make a left. I was like, okay. So I was like, all right. So I get to the stop sign and I'm making a left. He said, all right, so when you get to that stop sign, make another left. And then I was like, okay. So I go down and then I make a left. And then I was like, he was like, do you see a blue car? I was like, no. So I see a cul-de-sac. What the fuck, y'all? I was like, I see a cul-de-sac. And he was like, you see a cul-de-sac? He was like, nah. You supposed to be seeing a stop sign. I was like, no, I see a cul-de-sac. And I see cars, but none of them are blue. And he was like, man, you went the wrong way. No, I didn't. You gave me wrong directions. I was like, no, you told me to go to the stop sign, make a left, go to the east, go down to the next stop sign, and make another left. The second left that I made, I'm in a cul-de-sac. I don't see no blue car. I see a gray car, a white car. You know what I'm telling them, all the cars I see, but I don't see a blue car. I know that for a fact. A blue car would stand out. In all these cars, it definitely would have stood out. So I was like, no. So he was like, man, he was like, turn around, because he was like, I think you went the wrong way. He was like, you said you came in by building da-da-da-da-da. He was like, yeah, 2 lefts. He was like, you should have been able to see another stop sign, but before you see that stop sign, you should see a blue car. It was like, it's parked on the side of the road, or well, on the side of the sidewalk or whatever. I was like, no, I don't. Yeah, that's what I said, but no, I don't see a blue. I said, I don't even see a stop sign. I said, maybe you meant to tell me to go. He was like, well, maybe you went. He was like, maybe you went right and you supposed to go. I said, no, maybe you told me left. I went left. I was like, no, maybe you told me left and you meant right. Because what? Like, telling me I went right when I should have went left. Like, no, you don't know your lefts and rights. Like, he was pissing me off because it's like, what? Like, don't tell me what I did wrong. Like, I know what I did. You told me to turn left, I turned left. Now, you could say that you was wrong and you meant to tell me right, but you told me left, and now you sitting there looking stupid, whatever. So I backed up and I was like, okay, so which way I'm going? He was like, what you see in front of you? I said, a stop sign onto another street. And he was like, okay, what street is you on? I don't know. I probably was on Morrow, something like that. There was like little streets in the apartment complex. Like, you know how you be in an apartment complex, they have a street right here, like Morrow or Sandy or Lisa, something like that. So I'm like, well, I don't know what street I was on. Let's just say I was on Lisa Street, whatever. I was like, the street across says Jasmine. I don't know. So he was like, okay, go. He was like, go straight. So I'm getting irritated because, okay, you already done told me 2 lefts and we at a dead end. I was like, all right, go straight. So I was like, when I back up onto Lisa Street, you want me to go straight over onto Jasmine Street? Because that's straight across. He was like, yeah, go straight. He was like, go straight. So I backed up onto Jasmine Street, onto Lisa Street, and then I drove straight across onto Jasmine Street, and I went straight down. And then he was like, okay, now when you get to the end of that street, make a right. I made a right. He was like, okay, so you're going to go all the way. He was like, go past those 2 stop signs, because they like a stop sign here and then do the stop sign here. And because like the way the apartments were sitting, it was like, whatever. It doesn't matter. What I do know is he told me to go 2 stop signs and then make a right. So when I went those 2 stop signs and made a right, y'all, why was I back at the same place I had just started? I said, okay, I feel like you sitting me in a dummy mission now. I said, because I just started here. So like what? Like what's going on? I just started here. And he was like, man. I said, where are you? Like, come outside or just send me like your actual address. I said, send me what building am I looking for? Because as you can, like, I could tell from the buildings that you can't really see it, like the apartments, until you go actually inside. So I'm like, what building am I looking for? He was like, oh. He was like, you don't know what building? I said, no, you sent me the address to the apartment complex. You never told me what building. Stupid. So I was like, no, I don't know what building. He was like, man. He was like, hold on. So he talking to somebody. He was like, all right, building, da. So I'm like, why the fuck didn't you just say that? So I'm looking at the buildings and I'm looking. And then I was like, I backed up. And as I'm backing up, I look and it's a building like right there. And I was like, that's the building right there. I just passed that building. When you told me to go on to Jasmine Street and then go back, you literally made me pass the building. You knew that was the building. Why didn't you just say, oh, as soon as you cross into Jasmine Street, just hit that little parking lot right there, and I'm in that building. Why you couldn't do that? So, and we finna see why. So I was like, the building is behind me. So I backed into a little parking spot and I turned around and I drove back down. So then when I drove back down, I turned into a parking spot that was facing the building. And I was like, oh, he got a building right here. I was like, he was like, okay, get out. I was like, where are you? He was like, get out, I see you. I said, you see me? He was like, yeah. He was like, get out. So then he hung up. Why you hang up? So as he hanging up, like, I see somebody walk outside. But the person walked outside and sat on the stoop of, like, the way the apartments is, like I said, it's a building. But the way the apartments is, it's like the apartments is like laid out. So they all have like their little stoops, like a little step, you know. Every one of them had their little step. You know what I'm saying? Please tell me out. Please in the comments, tell me if I was making sense when I just tried to explain to y'all how the apartments look. The apartments is one building and it has a number, but each little apartment has, y'all know what I'm saying. So anyway, a dude comes out and he sits on like this little chair that was outside his porch, on his porch or whatever. He sit there. So I'm getting out and since he told me it was that building, I got out and I started walking down the sidewalk of that building. But I'm walking like slow because I'm waiting on him to either like call me back or text me and be like, okay, apartment apartment A, B, C, or D. Because it's like, dude, you literally just hung up. What's going on? So I'm sitting here and I'm looking. Dude speak to me. He was like, hey. I was like, hey. But again, looking for the dude. Looking. And I'm sitting here and so I'm calling back. Y'all, when I start calling the number again, why the dude that's sitting on the step phone start ringing? But I'm not paying it no attention because I'm like, it can't be me. So I hear the phone, but I'm not paying it no attention. The phone goes straight to voicemail. The dude get up and go back in the house. I'm like, I'm not thinking nothing of it. So then the dude calls me back. Why I keep saying the dude? We're gonna give him a name. His name is Biggie. We're gonna call him Biggie. You finna see why. So anyway, so I'm sitting here and I'm trying to get in touch with Biggie. I'm calling. I'm like, yo, like, where you at? He was like, give me a second. He was like, I'm in here. I'm in a stew. People used to call studios. He said the studio, but whatever. He said, I'm in the stew with my homeboy right now. He was like, give me 1 second. He was like, they're trying to lay down the track before you come in. In this apartment, I know you're not calling this studio the apartment. Okay, whatever. You calling this apartment a studio? Okay, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, that's that ghetto. But I'm like, okay. I was like, well, can you come outside at least? Like, I'm not trying to be out here looking crazy. And I said, because you told me to get out, but you're not coming out. So then he was like, all right, I'm coming. So I was like, okay. So I'm turning around and I'm walking back. Like, I'm about to walk to my car because, yo, like, you're being weird. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't like weird, sticky situations. So anyway, the dude that was sitting outside that went back in the house, he came back out and sat down. So he's speaking to me. He was like, "You looking for somebody?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for my friend. I'm supposed to be meeting up with him." He was like, "Oh, for real?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "What's your name?" So I told him my name or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Keke, that's a cute name." But y'all, as he started talking to me, I realized that he has a Baltimore accent. So I'm looking at him. I'm like, I asked him. I said, "You know this dude named Biggie?" And he was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Yeah, because you kind of sound like him." I was like, "You got a Baltimore accent, and he has one too." He goes, "Yeah, yeah, it's very common." What? I was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "So do you know where, you know what apartment he's staying?" And then he goes, "Nah." So then he pulls out his phone, y'all, and calls me while I'm standing in front of him. When I tell you I lost it, he was like, "Yeah, that's me." He was like, "This me, this me." I'm looking at him and I'm like, "Nah." So I started going back to the pictures or whatever, and I'm like, "This ain't the dude." I was like, "This you?" He was like, "Yeah." I'm looking at the pictures, I'm looking at him, I'm like, they do got the same face, but what's up with that body? Y'all, when I tell you this dude was so freaking big, this dude was big, like out there. And I don't have a problem with big dudes. I have a problem with big, like he could have been on my 600-pound life. When I tell y'all, I literally lost my marbles. I was like, I said, what the? I said, nah, what happened? Cause yeah, I'm not the type of person that's been a sugarcoat nothing. Cause for one, we already came to the conclusion that I've clearly been catfished. Now we need to get to the bottom of why these pictures are still on here. If this was you 30 years ago or whatever, and that's you now. We need now pictures. So whenever I see pictures from like 2019, 2018, and I don't see no pictures from recent, current, that year, like say it's 2023, and you got pictures from 2020, 2019, 2018. Oh no, baby. These pictures not gonna do it. I need some up-to-date now pictures today. Like, I know, like, that scarred me. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, you not big in these pictures. He was like, nah, that was whenever I was a little slimmer. I started looking at the date on these pictures and I'm like, wow, like, that should have been, like, why did I not think to even look at, man? So I was like, is that why you wouldn't FaceTime me? He was like, you remember that day we was having a conversation about weight and height and size and all that? I'm like, yeah. He was like, man, when you said that, I already knew you weren't gonna go for a type of dude, like my type of dude. But I'm just sitting here like, so you catfish me? And I was like, you lied. I said, so that day that you said that you had a family emergency, you really didn't have a family emergency. You just didn't want me to come because you was scared that I wasn't gonna like you. I said, that's fucked up. He was like, nah, I ain't saying that. I really had a family emergency. He was like, you see, I say, no, you literally sent me into a roundabout. Then you had me standing on this curb looking crazy. It was you the whole time. You started speaking to me like you don't have a Baltimore accent. I asked you, do you know, dude? I asked you, do you know yourself? Clearly. You say, yeah, laughing about it like it's some kind of I say, you is a freaking joke. Like, you're a joke. Like, really. When I tell y'all, he pissed me off so bad. He pissed me off so bad. So I'm sitting here and I'm just like, yo, that ain't cool. Like, why would you lie like that? Like, why would you send me on a dummy. I said, you catfish. You do realize you catfish me, right? He was like, man, he was like, I'm telling you, if I had to let you see me sooner, we probably wouldn't. I said, we would have still had a conversation. I just would not. I said, I don't want to have no conversation with you now because you lied. I said, then you deceive me by letting me think that these pictures on here are you recently. And then y'all, the dude, the pictures that I see, he was skinny, like skinny. So I'm trying to figure out like what happened. Like, did you go to a bad depression where you just blew up? Like, what happened? But then when I seen the year of these pictures, it made sense. It is just like I said, it was a current year. So it's just like 5 years ago type shit. So it's like, damn, in 5 years, you ate that much to put on that amount of weight. But I'm just sitting here like he said he. So I asked, I was like, so what kind of work do you do? Because this dude looked like he could not move. So it was just like, even like when he got up the first time, like, you know, he like wobbled into the house. Like, my bad. But like, he just looked like he could not move at a fast pace. So a warehouse job is not his job. He looked like he could barely like fit into a car. But the blue car was his. It's just like, he had a little ass car. For a big ass person like you should not be in that little ass car. But that's neither here nor there. So I was like, what kind of work do you do? He was like, oh, I'm a streamer. A streamer. He was like, yeah. He was like, I stream games. He was like, I'm a gamer basically. And he was like, you want to see my little setup? Y'all, I'm pretty much invested. So it's just like, you know what? Because like at the same time, I didn't want to be mean. I just wanted to understand what happened. Because how you blow up like that? But at the same time, it's just like, sure, because I'm into games. Like, I like playing games. I like playing Grand Theft Auto, all that stuff like that. I got a PS. Whatever. So, yeah. So, I'm sitting here and I'm like, sure. Like, I'm already disinvested, so let's go. Like, so he took me out there to his game. He had a gamer desktop or whatever, which is what I want to pretty much start getting into. I want to start streaming games and stuff like that. But, yeah. So, I had went out there. I had seen his little setup or whatever. And it was a nice little setup. It was a nice apartment. He had a whole room dedicated to just game, like his whole gaming career thing or whatever. So I'm like, oh, this is nice. Y'all, then it was like, let's take a tour of the rest of the room. Or the rest of the house. So I was like, I started looking around. I was like, but it was somebody there. But it wasn't people like you say it was. I was like, where is these people that you said that you know, y'all was laying down tracks and stuff? He was like, I was lying. Oh, now you want to tell me, you want to start telling me the truth. I was like, yeah, that was fucked up. But whatever. So he started showing me the rest of the house. Y'all, we get to his room. Tell me why he got this bed. This is big. Like, it's up off the floor. It's probably like, y'all can't see my floor. So say this is the floor. The bed is like this high up. But y'all, why is it a twin size? Like, it looked like a dorm bed. Like, have you ever been to like a college dorm? Those beds where they're like, some of them like they're high off the ground, but it's like real narrow and small. I was like, I looked at that bed. I said, you can fit on that? He was like, yeah. And it was literally off the floor. But I was like, you can fit on that? He was like, yeah. He was like, it's very comfortable too. I bet. So I was like, oh. So, but when I realized it was metal, so I was like, okay, that makes sense, a metal bed, because you kind of big. You don't want to get nothing, whatever. But yeah, so I was like, oh, I was like, that's a real small bed. He was like, well, it's just me. And I was like, yeah, just you. You take all of it. You don't fall off or nothing. Love it for you. So yeah. So anyway, I was just like, I was still confused. So no, y'all, he asked me for a hug. I said no. I said, I just came in because I wanted to see the apartment, because people have been, well, my best friend was raving about how good this apartment was. And it is a nice apartment. So I was like, so we had walked back downstairs or whatever, and I was by the door because it was like, okay, I'm about to leave. I'm already uncomfortable. You already done lied to me. I'm trying to figure out why you got this twin size bed upstairs, gaming room, cool. I was like, your friend sitting on the couch looking at me like, I don't know what the fuck. I'm about to get up out of here. So I'm standing by the door. He was like, why you standing so close to the door? I said, cause my best friend just told me she got something going. So I'm literally texting my best friend like, call me. Say that something going on, da da da. It wasn't the best friend whose house I was going to, well, whose house I was staying at. It was another friend. And I was on the phone with her whenever I had first pulled up. And I had told her, like, I'm finna meet up with this dude. I have never seen him before, da da da. But once I realized I was catfished, while he was taking me around this room, I was texting her, bitch, call me, say something happened, da da da. So I was like, yeah, I was like, my best friend saying something going on. I was like, I'm finna have to go. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, but it was nice meeting you. So just when I'm saying that, my best friend called me. Speakerphone. Cause I don't know about y'all, but me and my best friends used to be on bullshit. Like, me. It wasn't deal, it was me. I was always on some BS. I used to literally hit them up like, da da da, hey, call me, say something happened so I can get through. I actually got a story time about it with my other friend, but whatever. So I was like, call me, say something happened, be very, very fucking dramatic. Just be dramatic. Like, get me the fuck out of here. So so whenever I was saying that or whatever, she called me. She was like, girl, come get me this, da 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 da. She just said a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, what? Mind you, it's on speakerphone. So I'm like, girl, hold on. So I took it off speakerphone and make it seem like I'm not trying to let him know. So dude that was sitting on the couch looking at me, I got the phone to my ear. I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, come get me. I was like, girl, I'm on the way. So I was like, man, I gotta go. Her nigga done stole her car. Like, I gotta go get her. We gotta go get her car back. So he was like, what happened to us going out to eat? I'm looking at him like, you could have missed a few meals. You can stand to miss another meal. Well, you can stand to miss a meal. Because it didn't look like you missed any. But yeah, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, we're probably gonna have to pick this up on another day. I said, but when my friend called, I gotta go. So I was like, I'm sorry, but she seemed like she in a rush. She seemed like she got, I gotta go. So I'm leaving out or whatever. He was like, well, can I have a hug before you? No. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't stall anymore. Like, me explaining myself to you, it's just, that's doing too much already. I was like, I just gotta go. Y'all, when I tell you, I got in that car and pulled off so fast, I called my best friend back. I said, bitch, thank you. I was like, this man is not who he said he was. She was like, how did you not know that? I said, girl, I ain't pay attention to the freaking date on the photos. I was just looking. He was cute in the photo. Now, mind you, when I see he was still cute, but he was so big. He was like, like really, he looked like he weighed 600 pounds, if not pushing it. So it's just like, no, that's not my type of, that doesn't turn me on. And at least his face was still cute. He still had a cute face. But, and then this is the thing. This dude said he was going to the gym. What gym? I feel like there was a gym for eating. Because what gym are you going to where you just not, like, you're not losing the weight? Like, it wasn't muscle, nothing. That was per fat, baby. Fat on the arms, on the stomach, on the ankles was thick. The ankles was... Sorry. But yeah, the ankles was thick. So I was like, no, no, it wasn't my cup of tea. So she was like, so I sent her pictures. I said, his face is still the same. But she was like, girl, look at him. I know you. I was like, girl, I wasn't thinking. But that, you know what? That definitely opened up my eyes, because even to this day, but I don't even answer messages. I don't even, like, I open my messenger and I see that people be hitting me up, but I don't never respond to it, because it's like, I don't care. Like, you're not saying something that I haven't already heard. And then it's like, now that my Facebook is public because of my TikToks and of course my YouTube channel now, I don't feel the need to really read them. So I just let them pile up. Like, I got like over 200 and something unread messages on Facebook. And you know what? I could care less. I got hella friend requests that I still haven't accepted. But yeah, so y'all, that was the time that I got catfish. But now whenever somebody well, before now, like back after that, anybody that hit me up, I went to their pictures and I made sure their pictures was recent. Like, I don't want to see nothing from 2023 if it's 2024. I don't want to see nothing from 2023. Like, or 2022. Nah. And then, like, now it's like FaceTime, baby. Cut the TV on, the lights, something. Because if I tell you to FaceTime me and you FaceTime me with a dark background and then you tell me that you don't feel like turning the light on, click. Don't worry about it. You block, baby, on site because I don't have time for it. I'm not playing with nobody. But, yeah, yo. I got catfish and I shouldn't have because I should have been more on my game. But whenever I got back to my best friend's house, we had a kiki about it. We laughed about it. I was like, girl, this man was huge. Y'all, tell me why he ended up hitting me up later that night. Like, is your friend okay? I never responded. I was the type of person, I wouldn't block nobody, but I'll just like stop talking to you. Like, I didn't feel the need to want to block somebody. I just would stop talking to them, and they kind of caught on. Like, dudes back then was smarter than the dudes now. Dudes now, you really gotta block them. But the dudes back then, he was smart. Well, I guess because he was from Baltimore, I don't know. But after like a week of hitting me up and me not responding, because I was the type of person, like, I got hella unread messages, text messages too, because why? Like, if I don't feel a connection or nothing like that, I'm blocking. Well, I'm not blocking you, but I'm going to ignore you. So after maybe a week of ignoring him, he just stopped hitting me up, and I was like, I love a man that catch on so fast. He was like, well, I guess you, y'all, and then he had ended up sending me a message. I wish I had that message. He had said something about just because I'm big, he was like, I could spoil you. I got the money and the means to take care of you or something like that. And he was like, and I know like the sexual attraction may not be there. He was like, but he was like, how would you feel if I watched while you somebody else? I'm like, what? Like, this dude is crazy. I was just sitting here looking at these messages like, no. In my head, I'm like, no. But I never responded because, baby, get the hint. You said, and no, and then the last one, he was like, you missed out on the blessing. I just want you to know that. And I was like, well, if I missed out on that blessing, it's fine. I'm pretty sure I don't missed out on other greater blessings. I mean, hey, one missed blessing is not going to stop the rest of them from flowing in. That's how I felt. So I was just like, yeah, you know what? If you felt like it was a blessing, then you know what? It was a blessing in disguise. Clearly, because you wasn't who you said you was. So, yeah. And then, like, I remember, no, I did text him back whenever, when he had texted me that same night asking about my friend. I said, I cannot believe you catfished me. I didn't even, now think about it, I did not respond to what he said because I felt like my friend business is irrelevant to the fact that you really catfished me. And I was like, you really catfished me. And then that's when he started saying all that other crazy stuff. And I was just like, I wasn't really reading into, I wasn't paying no attention. And plus through the week, whenever I'm working, like I sleep all day because I worked overnight. So I'm asleep all day. So by the time I get up, like if you text me, then more than likely you weren't gonna get a text until maybe the next day before I fell asleep again. I don't know. But yeah, depending on who you were, because a lot of times my friends would call me because they knew that I was asleep all day and they knew what time I got up for work. So yeah, y'all, so that was the time I got catfished. I think this video is pretty long at this point. And yeah, so there was the time I got caught. That was the time I got catfish. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.